What up, gang? Carolina Jackpot time coming at you. It's Monday evening. I hope everybody's doing good tonight. What happens when you get to be like 49 years old? And I'm asking this just from a perspective of not necessarily trying to get some, well, maybe trying to get some advice, and also just throwing some stuff out there. You know, we get buried up in the college football talk and the smack talk and everything that goes with that. But this is still a community over here on YouTube. And the fact of the matter is that myself, I don't, God, now he's barking up a blue streak. I don't spend a lot of time doing a whole heck of a lot that doesn't involve family, kid, work, sports. That's about the extent of it. So it's good to be able to talk to some people in the YouTube comment section every now and again, because like the circle of friends that I've had in the past, that's, you know, everything's pretty much moved on. I detailed in a video a good while back of my struggles when I was kind of wrongfully removed from my position at Ingles Markets. And that's been almost 6 years ago now. And I, not when I made the video, when it happened, I subsequently left that company about 2 weeks later. And I have maybe two people that I worked with in the entire 13 years that I was there that I ever communicate with anymore. Just don't talk to any of them. A couple of them, they just send me text messages every now and again about sports. One of them's a Clemson fan, knows I'm a Gamecock fan. We'll go back and forth a little bit, talk about some football-related stuff. And one of them showed me pictures of some lottery tickets that she scratched off. But other than that, I don't talk to anybody from there. One thing Carolina Jackpot does, when Carolina Jackpot leaves a place, he kind of tends to leave. And it's one of the faults that I have, I guess, and maybe you could call it a fault, maybe not. I just don't keep up with the goings on of places I've been before, and unless I just really become extremely close to someone, I just move on, and I hadn't really made a habit of getting real close to anybody like that, so I just kind of move on. But gotten to a point here in my life now, as y'all saw my video that I did a few months ago, and you know that I moved on from the route sales job I had, where I was delivering nuts, potato chips, and Golden Flakes snacks. The job I had, I loved it. I really did. Was it the best job in the world ever? Probably not, but it was the favorite thing that it was my favorite thing that I had done. Probably since the mid 2000s, when I was a store manager at Winn-Dixie. Back then, I was just approaching 30 years old. I had a store that was broken. I took over it. We were comping #1 sales in the district, and I was winning sales contests. And even though it wasn't a high volume store, I was still looking like a hero because I had cleaned up this shithole. Well, I didn't clean it up. The people that worked for me cleaned it up, but I oversaw it. I did a lot of the work myself too. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed going to work back then. I really did. Fast forward to now, I'm back in retail again after I'd only been out of it a year, really, to doing the potato chips. So not a lot of things have changed, but getting back into it has made me realize why I got out of it in the first place to go do the route sales job. It is so difficult to maintain good store conditions, to hire and train an effective team nowadays in retail, because payroll has always been an issue in retail, whether it was in grocery or variety retail or no matter what you're doing, it's always been an issue because that's the number one controllable expense that you have in those kind of stores. You can't control how much the price of the goods is that you're bringing in, or the cost on the goods, I should say, that you're going to sell. You can't control that. You can't control the cost of employee insurance. You can't control the price that it costs to empty the trash receptacle behind your building 2 times a week. You can't control the price of the diesel fuel that goes into the 18-wheeler that delivers the goods to your store. But you can control your payroll. It's a controllable expense. It's payroll and supplies. Now you get to see my hand. See, what's them lines mean? What's that saying to you? And it's become especially tough the past couple of years. Pretty much since when the pandemic happened in 2021, the sales in the stores absolutely went through the roof. I mean, people were scared. They were panic buying, and then it turned from being scared and panic buying to, oh, we got these stimulus checks. Let's go out and buy a bunch of shit. So that's what people did, and everybody's sales were through the roof those 2 years. But then around the beginning of 2022, when things started getting back to normal everywhere, those sales kind of curbed backwards, and it was like you were doing the same amount of sales you were doing back in 2019. So it was kind of weird. In 2023, I wasn't in retail for much of 2023. I was doing the potato chips. And now we're faced with everybody is making way more than they were 3, 4, 5 years ago. Everyone's hourly rates have skyrocketed, and these part-timers especially. And guess what? The sales haven't caught up with it. They haven't. People would think that because of the inflation and the price discrepancies now with the things that have gone up, that would make your sales go up as well, but it really hasn't. That really hasn't all that much. It's kind of offset a little bit by people not buying as much. So when the sales aren't keeping up with the pay rates, you have even less people to do the same or more work. And it's just a vicious cycle. And then half the time you can't get them to come to work. It's almost to the point of, yes, you have programs where you can hold them accountable for being late, for calling in too much. But the thing is, when they actually do come in and they do a good job, you say, dang glad that there's somebody there that's doing a good job, and there's a warm body here that you tend to not hold them accountable. And that's a bad cycle to be in, and it's a bad way to get yourself. But I mean, what are you going to do? You can't do it all yourself. So it's rough, and I've gotten to a point in my life now where I'm like, is this it? I'm like, is this the end? I mean, is this what I have come to? You know, I had a dream when I was in high school, and even kind of before that, I wanted to be a sports guy. I wanted to work in radio. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to broadcast football games and basketball games. Obviously, I mean that's kind of a dead media outlet anymore. I mean, people really aren't doing radio anymore. It's but you know, there's plenty of ways that you can. There's places you can take that talent to. People are doing podcasts now. They're doing YouTube now. They're doing stuff for various social media platforms now. People are writing blogs now. It's not just all about that anymore. But that's what I wanted to do. But, I got caught up in retail. That's what I started doing in high school, and I liked it. And I just stayed there. And damn if, you turn around and you look back and over 30 years, has gone by since the time I turned 16. 49 years old now. I can't believe it. Yeah, I started working when I was 16, the day I turned 16. And, the route sales thing was something I was really, really passionate about. I enjoyed it. I loved it. But, I gave that up. And did I make a mistake? Probably so. I just, I really hate it. Now I've looked at other venues out there, and there's other route sales operations you can buy. Namely, bread is one thing, and I've gotten kind of interested in that. And people will sit there and say, "Well, you don't want to buy a bread route. You don't want to do that because you'll get sucked into that. You'll never." I don't think that's necessarily true. If you go out there and you apply yourself and you grow your sales, you grow your business, and you take care of it, you're going to make money. It's just those things are pretty expensive. You got to put down a decent chunk of change on a bread route to even get into where the company that you're buying it from will finance it for you, the rest of it. So, which they'd finance it, they would just take money out of your check, your profit every week, and apply it towards the loan they gave you on buying the route. But I don't know, at 49 years old, am I too old to do that? I don't know. There are some older guys out there doing the bread routes, the cookie routes. So that's something I might really seriously explore. But I'm telling you what, working in these stores, it's a killer. And it's a killer sometimes because you put your heart and soul into stuff. Your blood. I'm not gonna say my heart and soul because I don't put my heart and soul into as much as I used to. I mean, I used to be all about it. I mean, back 15 years ago, I was studying up on our company, and I was, looking at different ways I could do this and that. And I was sitting here at nighttime jotting out things and brainstorming and taking notes on what I could do better. I just don't do any of that anymore. Is it because I realized that I've just reached a point where I don't know that it works anymore? I really don't know that it's even appreciated anymore. And maybe, I spend more time watching other people's YouTube videos on TV, I'll find myself going down a rabbit hole. This morning, I went into work today at 9:30 and worked until 6. And I woke up early this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, and my YouTube things just play on a loop. And it just things just play that are in the genre that I'm interested in. I sat there and found myself going into a rabbit hole and watching a 37-minute long film that was probably produced on one of those old 8mm film reels of the highlights of the 1977 Temple Owls football team, produced by Temple University. That's what I'm doing now with my spare time. It's crazy stuff like that. So, I don't know if I've kind of hit a midlife crisis. I don't know but at my age, I feel like you ought to know what you want to do, or not that you want to know, or to know what you want to do. You ought to be settled into what you are doing by now. There should be no questions, and you should be starting to get ready to gear up to work that last 15 to 20 years so that you can go into retirement. And now I'm like a 20-something who doesn't know what the heck he wants to do next, what his next turn is going to be, or where his next turn is going to take him, in other words. So I feel extremely confused at this point, and would appreciate any input. Maybe some of you other folks have went through this situation. I've said it before. I loved the grocery business. I enjoyed it. I put my heart and soul into it. I really did. But the day that I lost my store at Ingles Markets, which was November 26, 2018, I'll still never forget it. Things that were were out of my control. It's out of my control, and if it was me, if I was the issue, if I could inherently say it was my fault, I screwed up, I'd sit here and tell you I screwed up, but I didn't screw up. I ran my store pretty much the same as everybody else did. For some reason, the guy I was working for just had it in for me. Didn't like me for some particular reason, and that's fine. I mean, I hope he's satisfied with knowing right now that he's made my life kind of extremely difficult a little bit the past few years. It's not been easy bouncing from there to the Roses Company, and then to doing a potato chip route, and then back to do what I'm doing here now. I really feel slighted on that, but I can sit here and cry you a river, but everybody has had bad things happen to them. In adversity, it's not what happens to you, and it's how you react to it. And right now, there's a pug reacting to it. Stop that, baby. So yeah, anybody who has any advice or has been through any of this crazy stuff, please hit me down in the comment section below, or reach out to Jackpot in the direct messages at Hall_Kale on Twitter, or you can even email me. Email address will be down in the description box below. It's all good. Anyway, I'll see you guys later on. I appreciate you. Peace. And I'm out of here.